make this statement. I'm going to make it right now. Gamescom proves that Xbox is absolutely crushing it. I think they dominated. I think this is just as big as E3. I think they have all of the momentum right now. Don't at me.
Don't?
Yeah, don't.
Okay. I won't.
He doesn't want to hear it.
I know. I guess
Don't
not.
hear
He doesn't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. No, Jordan, you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts?
No, I thought it was actually a really good showcasing for Xbox. Not only at their conference, but some other games we got to see during, I think it was the Gamescom Night Live. We got announcements for Halo, which is exciting. We got to see Crossfire X again during that same presentation. We still have no idea when it's coming, but we got to see it.
New hardware.
And
everybody likes hardware.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spicy, what do you think?
Yeah, the Halo hardware. Is that what you're talking about?
What do you think of the custom Halo Elite controller?
It looks so sexy.
It does.
It looks so sexy. I'm jealous. Ronan, a good friend of the show,
Got it?
got one.
That son of a bitch!
He got one. I was pretty jealous of it. So it looks so good. If you haven't seen it, actually, I could pull it up.
Yeah, well, it's Master Chief's controller. If he
I know.
if he needed a
If
controller,
he needed a controller, it would be Elite.
It would be that one.
It's a sexy looking
Has the
controller.
Spartan number up in
Consoles
there.
looks good too, right?
Yeah, the console
The
looks
console
really
looks
good.
really good, and we do know the console is coming on the 20th anniversary of Halo,
Yes, November
15th.
15th.
I believe
Oh,
it was.
And
or
I
it
was saying, I have to have my mea culpa here. I said Jordan was an idiot and was wrong. I said there's no way they don't release Halo Infinite on their anniversary. I was wrong. Jordan was right. Jordan's always said December,
early December.
early December, and the official release date was what? December 6th? I think
December
they announced?
8th.
December 8th?
Yeah.
December 8th, but we did get the anniversary release of the Series X special edition.
Yes, the special edition Xbox, which is basically it's actually a really nice looking Xbox. I like it. It kind of has.
does look cool.
Is this one it? This is it right here? No, this is not it.
No,
I
that's
think
not it.
That's like a fan.
Yeah, it's a fan
I just
made.
pulled it up and I'm like, that's not what I remember seeing.
I don't remember that one.
I don't
No,
remember
not
that
it.
one.
It's kind of has a dark top with
It's
like
like gold with
stars
stars
on it,
on it, yeah.
and then it kind of as it comes down, it kind of gets into the Halo Infinite colors of
There it
the
is.
gold.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, the gold, the black,
Ooh.
coming with. What would have been a cool bundle, and I mean, obviously, I get why they don't, money probably, but if they bundled the Elite controller with that would have been great. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it looks good though. Oh, man.
but very cool.
Now,
I like it.
No bubble wrap.
Yeah, no bubble wrap.
Now, Beast does make a good point in chat. He says it's a little goofy to do the Halo console when you still can't just get a regular Series X at the store. That is a good point.
Yeah,
That's
and,
fair.
and now you can't get the Halo console.
Now you can't get the Halo console.
The one thing I do like about this console above everything else is I like that the buttons are gold on it. Do you notice that at the top?
Oh, yeah, that's
instead
nice.
of being the
I like
clear
that
or the
a lot.
white, it's the gold. Very cool. I like the console aesthetically. Whether you can get one or not, good luck.
What's better than one console you can't buy?
Two of them.
But I think the star of the show is the Elite controller.
Yeah, the
That
Elite
looks
controller
really,
looks so
really
solid,
good.
so good.
The other hardware we got to see was the Forza Edition controller, which does look really cool. I really like the look of it. It's kind of that. It's got that burst of colors on it with the pink and the other bright colors, and then it's got see-through in it, so you can kind of see through the controller a little bit. Very cool controller. Would have been cool if they had an Elite version of it, though.
Would have been, yes.
Would have been
I
cool if they
actually
had
thought
the
when I was
version.
because I already knew about the Halo controller when I saw this after the fact. As they were playing the video, I was like, "Wait, is this going to be an Elite controller?" But it is not.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool about
So
this
you
one?
like this one?
No,
I'm
I do.
not
I
as-
do like this
I'm
one.
not-
I like.
I think the Halo one is better.
No, I think the Halo one is better. Also, because it's an Elite controller.
Yeah.
But I do like this one. What I really like is they're kind of going for that.
It's like a retro see-through Nintendo 64 controller.
Yeah, not
vibe.
color-wise. I do like the see-through, not color-wise. But if you look at they have the grips on the back.
Yeah,
It's
they
kind
did
of. It's
grips,
kind of the idea. I almost get the impression of like a steering wheel,
Like leather seats.
Yeah, you got to wear your driving gloves
Dude,
when you're using this controller.
They should make a leather controller for
like full leather.
the Xbox.
Made by Lexus or something?
Made by something.
Ferrari.
Car leather.
The Ferrari edition.
Red Ferrari red leather.
And have a analog clock on there.
He's so
in the
cool.
middle of it. No, but I like the look of this
Also,
controller.
a
I like
suede
the
controller would be nice.
That
A
was
suede one?
Get
Velvet.
ruined really fast with your hand sweat, but it would
You
still be
have
so
one
nice.
one midnight launch and it's done. Because of all the Cheetos, Mountain Dew, you're gonna be sweating.
Oh yeah, that's true. Suede doesn't clean like leather. At least you can wipe it off. But suede,
You can get
Yeah.
those leather wipes. But no, I like the Forza controller. I like the see-through aspect of it. I like the burst of bright pink and blue colors on it. I think it's cool. Now, like you said, it's nowhere near as cool as the. Well, I shouldn't say nowhere near. It's not as cool, in my opinion, as the Master Chief Elite controller.
yeah.
The-
Well, I think that Forza. I think it doesn't top the blue Forza Motorsport 6 controller.
That one's really good.
Yeah, that's 'cause that was like
that
a-
was simple, elegant.
Yeah,
Well,
this
it was a
one,
very good blue. Do you have the
This one, I know
Master
what they're
Chief
going
Elite
for. They're
controller?
going for like a Fiesta.
Well, I mean, it's on that picture. You
No,
want
no,
me to-
that's not the Elite controller.
Oh, it's not.
No, there's an actual
Yeah, it's
Master
green.
Chief
It's green.
Elite
It's
controller.
beautiful.
Okay. I'll
It's
get it.
so-
I'll get it. Okay.
It's so sexy.
Just so I can look at it one more time.
Just one more time before we move on.
Yeah.
We just got it. No, I like the Forza controller. I think it looks good, but it's not my favorite. I understand what they were doing. I'm not a big fan of the see-through. That's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
the see-through. Well, I like
that
how
it
they.
right
That's
there?
it right there, baby.
Oh,
117. Spartan 117.
All right. Describe it for our listeners.
It is green. It's got black handles, a gold D-pad, green joysticks, and dark
117
dark
in the top
buttons.
right,
One
and there's
more-
even some like
little scratch.
bullet mark on it,
little
like
scratches
the,
on the top, and
like the gunpowder mark on
yeah,
it.
It actually looks like his helmet.
Yeah.
it is awesome. Now, see, I think this destroys the Forza.
No, I do like
controller.
this one better, and I will admit because it's the Elite controller, I do like the Elite controller better.
It's pre-scuffed. This is good.
Pre-scuffed.
Yeah, no,
It's like
yeah.
jeans, pre-ripped jeans.
They're like, hey, they're gonna break it anyway. Should we just pre-scuff it up?
let's do it.
Because that Mjolnir armor is all jacked up. They did a really
So-
good job on this controller.
So
That
yeah,
looks really good.
the hardware, it's coming.
That is coming. Yeah, very excited. Before, well, can I say what I'm most excited about? I have two things
Yes.
from Gamescom.
Yes.
So I do think Gamescom, Xbox just absolutely dominated. So many exciting announcements. A lot of PC announcements as
Yeah.
well, which that's what Game Pass is about. In fact, they did a whole trailer about Game Pass has PC games.
Yeah, they really pushed it.
They
Even
really
during
did.
the Gamescom,
and I do
live
think,
night.
So I have been playing Humankind a lot this last week, and I've been actually downloading a lot of games from Game Pass on PC. I'm going to be interested to see how Xbox does a marketing push because it's better. The Game Pass on PC is not as gimmicky anymore. At first, it was a little bit gimmicky. They had some good games, but now it feels really fleshed out. And when you browse games, it's like, whoa, I didn't know this game was on Game Pass for PC. Whoa. And then you download it. I don't have to say, by the way, Humankind blows
It's
my
really
mind.
good.
You like it?
I
Yeah, you like it a lot,
like
don't
Have
you?
you played it, Spicy?
I haven't yet,
Not
no.
It is.
I've downloaded it. But
So
I haven't played
Humankind
it.
it's a Civilization competitor, direct competitor.
Sure.
No questions about it.
I mean, it
It's
looks
not perfect.
the same
It's
game.
not perfect. But what it does that I really enjoy is it streamlines certain things. For instance, when you start a game in Civilization, you start with a settler, and that's how you build a city.
Uh-huh.
And then, when you build a city with a settler, you lose that settler. When you start in Humankind, you start with an army. Like this is a tribe of people. That's your army.
You're the
And-
barbarians, so this is the game through the barbarians' perspective.
yeah. And so you have that tribe, this military force, and you can explore, and you become eligible to build a city by different currencies that are in the game. And when you build that city, you do not lose your military. They treat them separately. And then your city is this separate entity that then kind of works like Civilization, where you can build stuff within Civilization. However, they utilize districts really well in the city, so you're improving districts. I know Civilization does something similar. They just it's just streamlined. They managed to take away some of the tedious things in Civilization and streamline it while adding a little bit of complication through their culture system, or their influence system rather. Oh, and their culture system. Influence is like the number one thing. Like you want to win a victory that's not militarily, you can definitely do it in Humankind. No questions asked. And then their culture system. So you choose a culture, just like in Civilization, as you level up, you go through different ages. At each age, you get to choose what kind of culture you have. And there'll be, let's say, 12 different options at this age. And as you pick that culture, there are certain buffs and debuffs that you get from picking that culture. Let's say, I don't know, randomly it's a warrior culture on number one, on age 1. Then you go to the second age, and you do a science culture, and you get a bonus. Those bonuses don't go away. They stack as
I
you go
see.
through the different.
So this
ages.
is different than like Civilization's government, or is it?
It's
are
like
they?
it's
is it like
almost
a
like a
merger of the two?
combination.
Did they have
Okay.
like
Yeah.
a feudalation? How do you pronounce it?
feudal.
Feudalation. That's
Feudalation.
exactly
I don't
how
know.
you
I don't
pronounce
know.
feudalism. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had
Well, 'cause they had all
in
the,
Civilization.
you know,
You could even be a communist if you wanted. You could choose your government.
Yeah,
which would
well, because
give
you had all the
perks.
different. Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they were taking that and combining that, kind of merging.
kind
it
of,
with,
except for in Civilization, when you change your government, you don't keep your past perks. In this, at every new age, your previous benefits
Everything
stack.
stacks,
Everything
yeah.
stacks.
Oh.
It's so you could have this crazy combination at the end that's completely different than mine.
That.
That is cool.
I mean, Civilization is a very replayable game, but this maybe allows it replayable within even the Civilization you choose structure.
Exactly.
Wow.
It is very cool. Now it's not perfect, and there are lots of stuff that Civilization does better, but it's really fun. And I think and mods are going to be a big part of this. They've announced that mods are coming.
Yeah.
I think this could, in the long run, if they make correct moves, could be the Civilization that we've always wanted,
Yeah.
but don't deserve.
but don't deserve.
But we don't deserve the Civilization we need, but don't deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. I'm really impressed. So it's on Game Pass for PC, guys.
I
It
should've
just
brought
came
up
out.
Gameplay. Sorry, David.
No, you're good. It just came out. Really good. But that came up because we're talking about at Gamescom. Xbox really pushed this, and I feel like this is part of that momentum. I think Xbox proved that it has momentum. I think it's. Okay, this is going to be controversial. I think, at least perception-wise, momentum-wise, it's king in the current console generation. Doesn't mean that it's selling more. It doesn't mean that it has more games or anything like that. I'm just saying it's just crushing it marketing-wise, perception-wise, the games that are coming, the value proposition that's there. Psychonauts 2 just released. Fantastic. And we saw this during Gamescom. Two games that really stood out to me that I'd like to kick this off with, and maybe we should bring up gameplay of the
Sure,
first one.
you got it.
It's the Doki.
The
Dookie.
DokeV?
The Dookie that is
Doki
Doki.
5 Doke. No, it was called DokeV, right?
DokeV.
DokeV. Yeah.
DokeV. This game, everybody, from Pearl Abyss. Pearl Abyss, shout out, Black Desert Online, and what's their new Crimson
Desert.
Desert that's coming, and now this. There is no way to. It's been described as GTA babies, which
Yeah,
I think
right.
is pretty accurate. Grand Theft Auto babies mixed with a Pokemon
Yeah.
is how to describe this. I am so stoked for this game. I think this looks. I don't even know. We don't even know anything about it. Nobody does. Nobody knows what it is, what it does.
Well, it's as far as we know, it's just
They describe it
It's a
a-
Pokemon
They describe
style
it,
adventure.
Yeah, as an open world action adventure game
If
with
Pokemon
creature collection.
Called DokeV.
with
DokeV.
Rugrats in a Grand Theft Auto world with better graphics than you've seen in a
Insane
game.
graphics.
So good. It looks so. There's so many cheesy parts. There's so many. Like when this trailer starts out, you're just like, huh, okay. Well, this must be a filler game. No, it is not.
And
Dude.
the trailer slowly ramps up and just gets you.
It gets you good.
DokeV, capital V at the end,
Yeah.
is what it's called. I suggest everybody go watch the trailer if you haven't seen the trailer.
Pause this where you're at and just go watch the trailer.
It is so. It starts off slow, then ramps significantly, exponentially in awesomeness.
And it looks you could ride a freaking llama.
Yeah, there's llama mounts. The trailer
That's a
confirmed
kite
it.
that he's flying. That's like an
Llama.
electronic
Well, and then he
kite
does
that
one
he's
of those
flying.
one of those little lanterns
the
from
tea
Tangled.
lanterns?
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe this game. That's why I want you guys to stop the podcast and
You
go
can
watch it,
longboard?
and then you'll
He's
understand what we're
longboarding
talking.
with a xylophone on his backpack.
Well, and half the times they have like vacuums on their backpacks,
Dude,
and
the clothing customization is going to be insane in this
This
game.
has got to be crazy.
I
want
want to know what engine they're using because this game is one of the prettiest games
Well,
I've seen.
I remember we said the same thing about Crimson Desert. Like it was
That's
just
true.
beautiful. So whatever I don't know what Black Desert. Does anybody know in chat what Pearl
Pearl
Abyss
Abyss
uses? Because
I mean,
wow.
I think we could just Wikipedia that, but
Yeah.
no. Hey, I tell you what, somebody stop this Wikipedia and then message us what it is. In a week, we'll know.
No, that one stood out to me, and the other one that I'm very, very excited for that really stood out to me, and this is going to be niche, I know, but Crusader Kings III coming to Xbox, and not just a port over from the PC, because it's already on Game Pass for PC. It is being reworked. It's been reworked from the ground up for console controls. And I could not be more excited. That game is my favorite grand strategy game. It's everything you want in a strategy game, everything you want in a grand strategy game, mixed with Oregon Trail.
Well, they showed off a little bit of the control, like
What game are you talking
very
about?
tiny Crusader
Kings 3.
Oh, Crusader Kings. III,
They showed off a very tiny bit of like the new controls, and they did and this is good. They went in and revamped it to feel good on a controller.
Yeah.
It looks like so.
Yeah,
Very
so I'm
exciting.
super stoked for those two. I actually did a reaction video to it this week. Come check it out, youtube.com/.
Whoops, sorry.
XoneBros.
Sorry about that.
I'm again. We're just talking about Humankind. If you're very much into turn-based strategy, grand strategy, Humankind's for you. Another one that's going to be for you that will be legit on the console is Crusader Kings 3. Look at they're going over the things. People, 10 out of 10. Like this is, you could only play this game and never have a life. It's that intense.
This is the Stranded on an Island game then for you.
This is the Stranded on an Island game, yeah, with mods. Only if I could do mods.
Okay, that's fair.
With mods.
Yeah,
You
'cause
want,
of the Game of Thrones mod
Yeah,
and all that.
there is
yeah.
everything and anything in this game. It is. In fact,
See, and that's my next question. I wonder if they're going to bring mods to the console. I think
You want to
that's-
marry Thomas the Train?
I think they will. So here's the thing: this is Paradox Interactive that does this. Paradox Interactive is Stellaris. So for those of you that have played Stellaris and like it, this is Crusader Kings. And what they've done a good job. The console version of Stellaris is not yet caught up to the PC, but it's very close. And they've just constantly dropped the DLC, constantly dropped the update packs on console, and it's caught up essentially to. I think they're like one DLC behind now.
Yeah.
So they've done a really good job. So I would imagine that mods will be available at some.
Well, because I
point
know
in time.
the only game that I know that really does mods on the console is Bethesda with the Fallout and the Skyrim and their
and
games.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, do they do the mods on the console?
They're
though?
allowed on the console.
Oh,
You
okay.
do them on the PC and then
download them via the So, and I guess Forge mode and Halo I guess could be considered mods.
I think
but
initially Rockstar was very
Hesitant, yeah.
anti-mods.
everywhere though, weren't they? Like
Yeah,
PC,
they're-
console, everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what if
Then
we
they realized
if,
it
as
was free
Humankind-
labor?
Yeah, as Humankind, if we all know something, you can't stop the masses when it comes to the internet. You just can't. It's just they're just a freight train, and if people want mods on something, it's gonna happen. So I think Rockstar eventually released the reins a little bit, which is good for them because I think mods. I know it's not. I think mods has kept Grand Theft Auto relevant to this day.
Well, think Skyrim.
No, I agree.
Well, Grand Theft Auto is still top 3 all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
on
and it's pretty
streaming
much
services,
because of
like Twitch.
It's pretty much
the
because
Purple Snakes.
like mods like the No Pixel mod, where it's the role playing and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
I'm
just-
saying.
yeah.
Like the mods has kept. If it wasn't for mods on that game, you wouldn't have No Pixel. You wouldn't have that game
Yeah.
still being relevant, and it is extremely relevant. 12 years after it's launched.
Yeah, so I think Paradox Interactive, so far their console support has been on point. So I think it's going to be the same with this.
Okay.
This game suits more, in my opinion, for controller than Stellaris. And they did a good job with Stellaris.
Well, is it
actually.
because this is more like Civilization? I think translates to a controller really well because it's turn based.
It's turn-based, and it's not like there's... You don't have to do a lot of zooming in and zooming out and going around like you do in Stellaris. Like it's this 3D or 4D world, universe that you got to go around and traverse.
It's the intergalactic map
Yeah.
for Battlefront.
Exactly. Anyways,
but far more complex.
those are just two reasons that got me personally very excited, along with all the other announcements, and to me proves again they're crushing it. I mean, who else is able to announce this and it's coming to Game Pass? Not
Isn't this the game? Was this the game that they did a trebuchet on the Xbox for like? I learned more about trebuchets on that Xbox panel than I did ever.
No, I think that was
that-
Henry.
No, like
Wasn't
they I learned
yeah.
it was during the presentation. They did a whole presentation on trebuchets. Did you guys miss that?
I thought it was Henry. No, Henry.
No,
it
just
was
this week.
Oh, was it this week? Oh, no, I didn't
Yeah.
see that one.
Was it Age of Empires?
Might have been
I
Age
think
of
it was the
Empires.
Age of
Might have been
Empires.
Age of
Like
Empires.
they didn't give any gameplay for me. They just showed me information about trebuchets.
So
That's
you,
what it was.
so you know how to effectively use them when
It
the
was
game
hilarious.
comes out.
It was 20 minutes on. It was like a documentary. I'm watching a conference, and I learned This is one of the few times. I'll be honest. This is one of the few times I was actually interested in the fluff that they were putting in on the show.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, that's fascinating. They showed me how it worked, the counterbalancing. They even had people running in the. They had a replica one.
We built the game from the ground up for Trebuchet.
I guess I was the only one that watched that. That was actually really fascinating. I was like, oh.
Beast, real quick, did drop a super chat. Thank you very much, Beast. He says, "Have you guys talked about the Stream Deck yet? I'm excited you can play Game Pass on it." Yeah, I think there's another example of why Game Pass has so much value is Steam's
Yeah.
Steam's
It's
Stream
spilling
Deck
into
that's coming.
Valve.
It's spilling into
So,
Valve,
which is a big cash cow if you don't know them.
Yeah, so no, absolutely. Yeah, Steam Deck is going to be fun, and the fact that you can play Game Pass, next level. So that's mine. Jordan, what stood out to you on Gamescom?
I think there's three things that stood out to me that really stood out. One was the Halo Infinite release date. So we'll be getting Halo Infinite on December 8th. That will be the campaign and the free-to-play multiplayer. Unfortunately, still hits me hard that there's going to be no co-op campaign and no Forge mode.
Yeah, it's rough.
That does hurt, but that being said, I am still excited to play the game because the multiplayer, from what we saw from the tech tests, looked really fun, and I'm excited in the coming months to hopefully see just a little bit more on the campaign to see how that has progressed since last year. The other one is Crossfire. Just a little trailer we got on Crossfire during the Gamescom live night with I think it was Jeff Keighley. We got to see a little trailer. It was kind of a campaign trailer, showed off a couple maps and stuff. We still don't know when it's coming. But I think that's one of those trailers of, yep, it's still there.
Yeah.
So, but it was. Yeah. I've been really excited for Crossfire. Rogue Company has kind of filled the hole for me because, unfortunately, Warface just never fixed itself. I guess would be it always. I even went back a few months later. They just seem to have netcode. It was just, I don't know. Anyway. So Crossfire, I'm really excited for Crossfire. But one of the big things is we got to hear just a little bit more information on Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So we didn't, to my knowledge, we didn't get to see any
I
gameplay.
scoured the internet, could not find
There
video
was
of it.
the lucky few who got to see gameplay from behind closed
elites.
doors.
The
And
elites.
I would just like to read two quotes from these people. So this one is from Eurogamer. They said, quote, "Don't think for a second that Elden Ring has gone soft on you, though. This is a From Software game through and through, and what I've seen, and despite the demo leaving me with more questions than ever before, I cannot wait to get my hands on this game come January," end quote. And the other one is from GameSpot. They said, quote, "My biggest takeaway from the short gameplay demo I saw is that, yes, Elden Ring is an open-world game, but not the kind that I've become thoroughly exhausted by in recent years. It doesn't seem like we're going through the motions of repeating 3 kinds of side missions in between moving from one designated main story point to another and occasionally being distracted by some sort of meaningless trinket to collect," end quote. Which is exciting because what we can take away from these quotes is the game is still a From Software game, which is great because I think
has the feel, has the culture.
Every time a From Software game comes out, there's always talk about, hey, there needs to be an easy mode or there this and blah, 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 right? I think the game is designed the way it's designed for a reason. And we talked about this a little while ago. When you defeat a boss and make it to a next checkpoint or make it to a bonfire or whatever it is, you feel a sense of accomplishment. It adds to the story. It adds to the lore. I think the difficulty for these games is there on purpose, and I encourage it. And from that first quote that we read, the difficulty is still there, which I like.
Yeah.
And I think Mark put it best. The game is not necessarily brutally punishing. It's more of a skill check game.
Yeah.
You learn the mechanics. You learn the boss. You defeat the boss. In doing so, you become better and are ready for the next set of enemies that can incorporate stuff. But very cool. And then the next comment is just glad to hear. It is an open world game, which we were all expecting and kind of knew about. But like they said over at GameSpot, it's not your typical open world game. We're not going from, and given they just played a 15-minute demo, so let's remember that. Sure. But from that demo, he says it doesn't feel like he's just going like, oh, and I feel like sometimes Assassin's Creed falls into this trap where you go do the main quest and then you're just doing the side quest as you know, and they're just kind of the same thing over and over again. But you're doing it more for completionist rather than the joy of exploring. And don't get me wrong, of course, there's joy of exploring in Assassin's Creed, but I feel like they fall into that trap of repetitiveness and more quantity rather than quality of their side quests in certain scenarios.
I think they definitely fall into that trap at Assassin's Creed.
But this just excites me, and we're so close.
So
and
close.
There's a bunch of other comments from different people that got to see the game behind closed doors, and really not a lot of negative. Yeah, it's all been good. Like I said again, it was a 15-minute demo that was probably very specific to what they wanted those people to see. But
so Jordan,
From Software has the pedigree, and I'm excited for it.
Scale of 1 to 10. Excitement. 10 being the most exciting. 10.
Yeah, because it really feels like they're taking the best parts of each of their games and throwing them into this while adding some new exciting stuff.
Spicy for you. Scale of 1 to 10.
10.
10, yeah.
There are a few game developers in my life that when they release a game, I get as excited for as From Software.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they come out they're consistent with their games they release. I always feel like the games they come out with are a notch above the previous version of their games. And
I think here,
I'm talking about the Soul series, Bloodborne,
Sekiro.
Thank you. I was thinking of but Sekiro is the one I was thinking of. Just couldn't think of the name. But yeah, they're just top part. It's exactly how I want a game to be in the fantasy style game. It's just gritty. It's difficult. It's hard. It's a clash of frustration versus excitement for improving your gameplay to the next level. I disagree with the mindset that there should be an easy mode. We have people in chat that are saying that they would prefer to have an easy mode. I disagree with that 100%. If you want an easy mode, I suggest just watching a playthrough on YouTube.
You think that takes away kind of the ethos?
Well, no, it takes away. We talked about it a little while ago. It takes away the experience of the game.
Yeah.
You don't fear enemies because they're easy. You fear them because they can kill you, right? And I know that this is just one example. But having the fear of what's around the next corner adds to the gameplay immersion.
To have a great hero, you need a great bad
opposition.
This isn't Star Wars: The New Movies. You can't just go through and save the universe. There's trial and error, and having that difficulty also. It's kind of funny saying this,
it's
but
the hero's journey.
It grows you as a character, as the player. It grows you as the player, and it grows your character in the game. Like it's
like a spiritual experience.
No, there really is. There's a connection with you as the player and your character in the game. When you beat a boss, not just the relief of beating the boss, but then learning the lore of the boss. It's it's very well done, and that difficulty adds to that experience.
And I would add to that, it's an experience that is very hard to get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The trend, the easy games have been a trend for a very long time, and it was always so disappointing to play a game and have someone always telling me, well, why don't you go press that button on the wall to progress further? Go here, go here, go here. I would like to figure things out. I would like to be stretched, to be exercised, my mind be exercised as a gamer, to have things difficult, to have that reward of achieving past the difficult part that I couldn't previously do. You can't get that in games anymore. This is one of the few games that, this developer From Software, these are one of the few people you can get that experience from anymore. Take that away and you don't get the same experience that this game can provide.
No, not at all the same feel. And just one more example. Let's take Dark Souls 3 and Firelink Shrine, which is your main city of the game, if you'll call it. When you go back to Firelink Shrine, you feel safe.
Yeah.
And the reason you feel safe is because you fought through a boss and then unlocked that safe haven. And then when you get ready to leave Firelink Shrine to go, back to previous levels or progress your journey, you stock up, you level up. And the reason you do all this is because it's a journey out there. And I think that adds to the immersion of the game. And if you take the Dark Souls series more so than I would say Bloodborne and Sekiro, but the way the story is told is through a lot of the weapons that you get when you defeat bosses, when you find them off the beaten path, and again that difficulty of getting these weapons, which then teaches you lore about certain bosses who are, you're only fighting some of these bosses that have strength, and look how difficult they are. Imagine if you know what I mean. It adds to the persona of those characters. It adds to the experience of the game, and that's why I think not having those different difficulty modes is in the benefit of this game in particular.
Do you think so? Because how many games does From Software have now? 5, 6? Will this be
IPs? Or?
Demon Souls, 3 Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. 6. So this will be their 7th.
This will be number 7.
Well, I mean, I don't. Maybe they had stuff before that.
Do you think? So if you were to go back to Demon Souls,
Demon Souls starred as game?
Is it really?
Yeah,
That's
really
interesting.
And,
because I was
and
thinking
what's
like,
funny is and
rough,
this
man.
and this is what makes me jealous. Part of the reason I wanted the PlayStation 5 is it's exclusive over to the PlayStation 5, and good on Sony for getting that. But they remastered it, and they were like, well, yeah, that was broken back then, but we're not going to fix it now. So I mean, it is true to the original. Like, it is 100% true to the original, which is great, from that perspective. But it's hard, and I would say Dark Souls 1 is probably the hardest of the Dark Souls.
I would agree. Yeah,
Really?
because you don't get specific gear that helps early on like you do in the others.
oh, okay.
And the multiplayer sucked. So even if you needed help, you couldn't really get it.
Yeah, but like what he's talking about, I would say the lesser. If you want to enjoy this game at a lesser difficulty, play with friends.
Yeah, multiplayer.
Because the bosses and the enemies
don't
are
scale?
balanced to have one enemy.
Okay.
If they're looking at you, you have to be very careful. If they're looking at your buddy, you can go right up to the nutsack and start swinging and stabbing as fast as you can, type thing, right? So, and then if you die in your friend's world, doesn't affect your friend. You just fade away.
So in chat, they're talking about people that suck at this game or have accessibility issues will never have fun playing this game. I think, and that's the argument I feel like is used a lot when talking about difficulty. I think difficulty and accessibility are two separate issues.
Sure.
I think accessibility is something, for example, I think someone that has accessibility issues or has trouble playing games the traditional way can get something, and this is why Microsoft did such a great job, can get something like the adaptive controller and fit it to their needs and still play and enjoy Dark Souls at its intended difficulty.
Sure.
Can I add that, remember, this game is not hard to be hard. It's a stepping stone up to the next difficulty skill check. So what I'm saying is anybody can play this game and get better at it and enjoy it. Anybody. I had a nephew that started playing when he was 9 years old, something like that.
Oh, he's like a natural now. Just naturally part of
has
his
played.
muscles.
This is his favorite game series.
Wow.
And at that age, he was able to just try to figure it out, to learn. Yeah. It's not a game about difficulty. It's a game about skill checks. I remember the first bosses that I played, and I mean, this happens to everybody when you play Dark Souls. It takes a while to beat the first boss. It always does. Mm-hmm. Then you figure things out. You learn. You go, okay, I got it. You move on. If you go back 5 hours later and play another playthrough, or even when you beat the game and play through, the boss is extremely easy.
Yeah, because you figured out the mechanics.
Yeah. Because you are so past that skill check that it's now a very simple.
So do you think it gets an unfair, maybe not unfair, but an unfair rap that it's just difficult? It's not.
Well, I mean,
100%.
It is difficult, and here's the another common misconception. And by the way, I mean, these are really interesting questions. I'm glad chat's mentioning them because I think it's a good discussion. But the common misconception is that, like, for example, I really enjoy this series and I love it. I don't go in and just spank every boss because I'm that great at games. Like Mark said, it's a stepping stone. There has been bosses. Mark had to come over to my house and coach me through a very specific boss in Sekiro because I spent, and I kid you not, guys, I spent 3 days on it. Yeah. And this guy This guy was crazy.
I can't.
But no, I spent 3 days on it.
I was a gaming life coach for
and
bit.
I've been there. I got frustrated with the game. I turned it off. I took a break. I came back and I just couldn't do it. So Mark came over and he didn't do it for me. He coached me through it. And then again, once you figure out the mechanics, like if I were to go back and fight that boss, I would do a lot better because I now know what to expect and. But that is these type of games. It's a
no tutorial game.
Well, it's a no tutorial game, but it's a game of skill checks, and I think that's the best way to describe it. You learn the boss, you're going to die. There's no way around that. I don't think there's any Souls player that has not died.
It's impossible.
It's literally impossible. You're going to die, but that is the point of the stepping stone of the game, to learn the game, to learn the skills of the boss, to understand their mechanics, how they move, what they do,
Sure.
And then you as a player progress and get better and eventually overcome that challenge.
So Roasted Gamer has a good question. He says, what one From Software game should I play prior to Elden Rings to better familiarize myself with this game
This genre?
play style?
Yeah. I would say,
Go ahead.
I would say probably Dark Souls 2. I think that is probably the easiest to pick up and understand and go.
But isn't it janky? Wouldn't Sekiro is less janky?
Well, because I think I'd almost say, because Dark Souls 3 is probably Dark Souls 2 is one of my favorites. I think it has some of the best bosses.
You don't get the dragon shield until after. I call him Captain Falco, and you can get that shield, I believe, right at the beginning.
I would almost
so maybe Dark Souls 3. Probably
three
Dark Souls
because
3.
it's the most refined.
Yeah. Well,
it's at its.
You can start out as a fighter, which is the most. Yeah. It's you have easy gear. The gear helps. Gear helps a lot in that game.
Sure.
And I think you start out as a fighter.
Yeah.
And you should be fine for the first couple bosses to get you past the hump of understanding that you're going to die. That's the biggest hurdle I think people run into playing these games is I keep dying. I'm not going to play this anymore.
No, it sounds weird when we're saying it, but it really is a part of that spiritual connection you have between you and your character in the game. It's really
it is a game about souls.
well. The thing, yeah, it is. It is. It's really one of the only games where I can see myself and feel myself growing and getting better as I progress through this game. It's really well done. I would almost even lean towards Sekiro to play. Sekiro's different than the Dark Souls series, but I feel it's more accessible to a general player base because there's more options, and I'm talking about sneaking.
Yeah, but you can't sneak past the bosses.
You can't sneak past the bosses, and Sekiro does have some difficult bosses.
Yeah, I mean that the boss
some of the non-mini bosses are actually pretty difficult.
That's my only thing, because people will play the game fine up until the bosses, and I think the boss skill. That's those. When I say skill check, I'm talking about boss fights, basically.
Yeah.
And Sekiro has some pretty difficult early on bosses.
I think the reason Sekiro's bosses are difficult, so I think it's a balancing act. So in Sekiro, I think it's easier because you have the ability to go around certain enemies and sneak and attack from above and stuff like that. But I think the boss fights are harder because in Sekiro you don't have a shield and you really need to nail your parries.
Yeah.
Which I will admit are done better in Sekiro because that's what the game is about. I think parries are harder in Dark Souls, but in Dark Souls you have a shield, so you can always get like a 100.
That's what I'm talking
so
about.
maybe Dark Souls 3.
There's how some of the gear works is it deals with damage negation as a percentage, and there is the types of damage. There's lightning, there's physical, there's fire, etc., or pyro damage, and in Dark Souls 3, you gain a shield right off the beginning that negates 100% of physical damage, which the early boss fights are mostly physical damage. So if you pull your shield up, you take no health loss, which is actually... It sounds
very
weird,
strong.
but that's a very strong ability to have initially.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like that one is the easiest one to just start grasping the whole, okay... He moves this. His movesets are this. I gotta dodge this. I need to attack here and not get greedy. Back off, dodge, attack, etc. And it just, I know we've been beating a dead horse, I feel, but it just the experience of beating a boss you've been working on for a week, like Jordan's
Wait,
Sekiro.
It was 3 days. All right, it wasn't a week.
Hey,
all right?
don't put that
yeah,
on me.
come I wasn't that guy. It was 3 days.
But I mean, when you beat him, how did you feel? It
was an accomplishment all on its own. I don't know if I got an achievement for it, but in my mind, I did.
it
Like
just
it was an
feels
accomplishment. And the thing is I learned from it. Like, okay, I beat him because of these. I had to do this, and this, and then those mechanics actually help you out later in the game. But it's just the difficulty of the game. It even adds to the world itself, because when you jump in this world, you're not Master Chief. You're not Marcus Phoenix. You are the lowest guy on the totem pole.
You really are.
And it adds to the scale of the world, because you walk in and you see these great castle vistas. And by the way, Dark Souls has, I think, some of the best level design in the business from software. Because you see stuff in the distance that you think is just the skybox, but it's an actual level that you can go to, and the way they tie all their levels together is fantastic. But with it being that difficult, you really feel like you're essentially moving up in the world. Like you're like I said, you're not the big bad in this game. You are the lowest guy on the totem pole, and it really is a journey of you getting stronger and better to go throughout the world.
It's kind of like a level up system in a game. You know how you level up and you can add perks to your skill tree. Imagine not having that, but having that be a part of you as a person playing the game.
Yeah.
I feel as though Dark Souls or From Software, those games, it is you are leveling up internally as a person, because you now gain the skill tree of knowing the specific timing when to dodge this boss.
Well, and look what this game has done for the genre. I mean, how many times have you heard a new game come out going, it's like a Souls-like game, right?
Souls-like.
You wouldn't have that terminology or that genre if there was easy modes.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
So to answer your question,
Yes.
David, I'm very excited to have another one of these in my life.
Very
I mean,
excited.
all the way 30 minutes later, all the way back.
Sorry, back to you.
No, let's go to Spicy about Gamescom, but let's take a question from Cooper, who wrote in. R56 Cooper. He says, some great news announced. Saints Row, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Gameplay for Call of Duty Vanguard looks amazing. New footage for Forza Horizon 5 looks great, as we knew it would. The Halo Infinite Series 2 Elite controller. Yes, I did manage to pre-order one. Oh, Cooper, congratulations
congrats,
on that
my
one.
friend.
He wants to know, what are your highlights from Gamescom 2021, Spicy? He's directing that question
I
to you.
mean, there's obviously games that I really get excited for. The Halo, of course. I got excited again for Microsoft Flight Simulator when they showcased a lot of the Top Gun, I guess, stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can I tell? And let me add, Forza looks amazing. I'm really excited about that. We actually watched the Bronco trailer before the show.
Pre-show.
In the pre-show with chat and all that fun stuff. I'm excited for all that. I'm gonna talk about something that I like to talk about, things that surprise me that I get excited for. And they had a section on during the Xbox podcast. It was like their, I don't know, it was their Humble Bundle. I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah, they did a Humble Bundle.
Well, Humble Games are coming too.
Humble Games, yeah.
That's exciting. I wrote these. I was so excited. I wrote them down. Midnight Fight Express, Flan, Bushidan. I don't even know. I didn't even know some of these games existed, but they look like a spicy game. They look so good. Do you remember? I can pull them up so you can see them, but I'm really excited by all these indie style games. I love indie games. I absolutely love them. I think they're one of the greatest places for artists to express with less limitation their work and their art, and to do things that are a lot more risky in the gaming world than you can in a Call of Duty series, for example.
They can take risks.
They can take risks.
Yeah.
Which I kind of want to talk about Psychonauts again too. I feel like Tim Schafer does that with every one of his games, and if we want to talk about that later, we can. But I get excited for that kind of stuff. So I really, really was excited for Midnight. Did you see Midnight Fight Express? Like the animations and the fights and everything? I'm going to pull that up real quick because it really surprised me. Midnight Fight Express gameplay. Let me pull this up so people in chat can watch it. Here we go. So
World
Skip
premiere.
ahead real quick. Here we go.
Humble
So
Games.
the animations in these indie games look so phenomenal. Look at.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
what for everyone listening? I'm sorry that I do this sometimes, but we're watching kind of an isometric view of. What would you call this? John Wick fighting?
Yeah,
A John Wick game?
It's a beat 'em up.
It's a beat 'em up with guns, a lot of different art styles involved. These games just tease me in the right way.
It's like a next gen Miami Heat. Not Miami Heat. Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami.
Hotline Miami. And it looks so good. And these are the type of games, they showed off a couple of these indie games. I did not know much about this game. I still don't, besides what I watched here in the trailer. And it just gets me in the right places, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why.
Yeah, it totally looks like a spicy game because it is. I feel like it's going to be a spicy game. So that's what I got excited for. I get excited for the things that I did not know existed that they tease me with. David, to answer your question.
Rose City Gamer writes in and says, "What's up, bros? So at what point do we declare Xbox is back? After Microsoft owned the Gamescom event, had a killer E3, and now it's clear they will have the only AAA console exclusives out this fall. Can we finally declare that Xbox is back, baby?"
It's definitely well, I think they've been back for a while,
Yeah.
and I think we're just now
seeing
reaping.
the fruits.
I think we are now reaping the reward of them being back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Yeah, I agree. It's official. It's time. Xbox is back.
They are back.
It's time to declare it. Rose City Gamer, it's official. Decree it. Send out the decree. Xbox
Let it be
is back.
written. Let it be said.
Let
On
it be
August
known.
27th, Xbox has come back.
Yes. No, I agree with that. I think that's why. I think they're crushing it. There's no question about it. Psychonauts. Speaking of crushing it, that dropped this week. We all had a chance to play it. I'll have probably the least articulate review. I'd probably have played it the least. I'm about 2 hours in. And this was a game I was not going to play. I had no idea. I never played the first one. Excuse me. Not invested in the storyline. Jumping into this game, I was absolutely blown away. A couple things really stood out to me. It rocks you back in a very good way to the Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, those
Super
types
Mario
of games.
64.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Those kind of ways, and it does it in a modern 2021 way. That's number one. It's a refreshing. It's a refreshing experience. The story is very good. I'm blown away at the storytelling on this game. Didn't expect it. The way it looks, it's like, oh, it's gonna be silly, tongue in cheek. No, it's a super, really good story. I'm blown away at the story so far. And number three, the level design is mind blowing.
Literally.
I am I'm in awe at the level design in this game. And this all comes together for me so far. This is the first impression. Granted, I'm only probably 2.5 hours in. To just be a wonderful experience. Now, a lot of reviews are saying Game of the Year. I would want to complete this game before saying that, but I can see why some people feel it's that way, at least so far. It's very impressive. I'm very impressed by it, having no history in this game. I think they also do a good job of catching you up. They have a short little catch-up trailer at the beginning. And then we had this discussion about tutorials. I like tutorials that are tutorials. That's what this game did, and they did it in a really good way. This game just puts you right into the action and teaches you while having you in that action. It's excellent. Very well done. I'm blown away at this game. Completely blown away and impressed. Let's go to Spicy, and then we'll finish up with Jordan.
Sure. So I think I've probably played most of Tim Schafer's game Between Us 3, right? I believe so. I played Full Throttle. Tim Schafer is a super cool guy. I've respected him for a very long time. Full Throttle back in the 90s. He did Monkey Island with Lucas. So he was a part of Lucas.
Oh wait, did he do Monkey Island?
He was
Or
on the,
was he a part of the team?
he was part of the team
okay.
that did Monkey Island. I
'cause
think
I enjoyed Monkey Island.
If I remember right, he got a job at Lucas in like '89 or something like that, and then for the next decade
Did the Monkey Island 1, 2, and 3?
he was with Lucas, and then in like 2000 he started his was it Take Two, I believe.
Double Fine?
Or Double Fine, not Take-Two. Yeah, Double Fine. You're right. Thank you. But Tim Schafer is an interesting game developer. If you look at like his pedigree of games, he makes things different. He's a different outside of the box. He's a risk taker. Look at the art style in this game. It's something that I feel like initially is kind of like a turnoff. It's kind of like a Dr. Seuss looking world.
Yeah, exactly.
He does things differently, and his games have always kind of been that way. And I think because of that, his sales on games has never entirely been as good as, say, a normal, less risky game would be.
Sure.
And I actually think that Tim Schafer does more for the gaming industry than any of those that do not take the risks. I think that he is a person I would consider him. Have you ever heard of Frank Zappa? He's a musician from the 70s, 80s, essentially. He's a name that not a lot of people know, but he has influenced pretty much every musician that's been since.
Interesting.
And the reason Frank Zappa is that way is because he did things so oddly and differently, and he took risks. Have you ever heard of Smoke on the Water by Deep
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That song is actually about a Frank Zappa concert where his concert caught on fire, and Deep Purple was across the lake watching his Smoke on the Water,
stage go up?
fire in the sky.
Oh, okay.
It's about a Frank Zappa concert. Zappa concert. Anyways, Tim Schafer does things so differently and oddly, yet they work on a lot of levels that I feel like he is an influencer in gaming and not a follower. And I am so excited that Psychonauts is getting reviews in the way that they're getting, because he has had a tough time of having, I guess, the popularity that he's had. I mean, the games that he made, like Brutal Legends, for example, is a game that initially kind of bombed in a way. It didn't get the sales that it was going to get. Brutal Legends is similar. Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacle is another one. If you've heard of that one, that's one of my favorite games.
Grim Fandango as well.
Grim Fandango, yeah, exactly. There are all these games. Psychonauts 1. There are all these games that didn't do as well as they should have, and I feel as though it's because of the style he makes his games that just go. He does things in a different way. His art styles are just slightly different, and he pushes things along that are very high risk, but artistically help the entire industry. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Anyways, I'm trying to get down to I really respect the guy, and it's super exciting to see him do so well and have the acclaim that I feel like he deserves. It's been a long time since he's had a game that, I think Brutal Legends, I believe it was up for Game of the Year, or he had a lot of people say that it was an excellent, it was one of his early games, and yet it didn't do very well on sales. And I feel like it's kind of like Frank Zappa. It's kind of like the jazz, or not the jazz music. It's you kind of get a taste for his stuff, and then you just fall in love with it. And I think this is one of those examples. See, look how different we're watching gameplay right now. This is my gameplay.
It changes the world.
He does things differently. The art style is different, but as you play it, you learn to love it and you learn to enjoy it. And I'm really glad that the game is doing as successful as it's doing. I really like Tim Schafer a lot. I love this game to get into now, kind of the review. I enjoy it. The game is odd at first, and as you play it, you learn to love what it gives you. And there's a collectionist part of it. There's this zany comedy about it. You can totally tell it's a Tim Schafer game.
Well, and the storytelling is amazing.
Yeah.
But what blows my mind is, like, look at this level design. And this is nothing. This is simple compared to what's about to experience.
What's
Yeah.
ahead? Correct. We're just watching
The level design. It's amazing. It really, you can tell it's a masterpiece done by a master.
Exactly, and it's a master that takes risks. I keep referring to the music industry because it's very similar. There's Blues Travelers has a song called Hook. and that song is literally about the dilemma of having to make money versus having to create art. It is, do I make a pop song and make money, or do I do what I want to do and just express myself in the bounds that art has given me and not make money? And it'd be financial suicide is what, that song says in the lyrics. But that's what that song's about. It's actually a satire on the whole thing, because he does... Blues Travelers wrote that song in Pachelbel's canon in D, which is, dun, 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 dun. It's what they play at weddings. And the whole satire on the song is he made the most pop song he could think of, and it's probably their most successful and made them the most money. And the whole argument in the song is, well, I have to do this to make money, but also at the same time, I hate it because I can't express myself. Tim Schafer is one of those people that I feel has stayed true to his art, and I think he has pushed the craft very, very much. To answer your question finally, I love this game. I'm excited to finish it. Is it Game of the Year? I don't know. I want to reserve it till the end because it's so different, but that's kind of Tim Schafer's charm.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that he's getting the recognition and this game is doing as well as it's doing. Because if there's anyone in the industry that deserves praise, it's him.
Well, Game Pass is really, helps with games like this, because I would have never taken a chance on a game like this. But it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, correct. And it's because it's the arts. I don't know what it is. Is it the art style that's a little off-putting? You're just you're not used to something like this.
It doesn't look like a serious game. And yet it is a serious game with serious mechanics and serious level design and serious storytelling. It's so good.
Yeah. Even how the game starts, it has a screen of, just so you know, we're going to be, in a comical way, we're going to be talking about, what does it say?
Mental health
issues, yeah. Because, this...
And the way they do it, and granted, I know this is the core of Psychonauts. I never played the first one. But the way they do it so tongue-in-cheek and yet making like a point, you're like, whoa. Like baggage.
Yes, baggage.
Yeah. You're going around getting baggage in somebody's head.
Or
doubts.
Regrets.
Regrets.
They weigh you down.
It's actually, Jordan, how about you? How has your experience been with the game so far? What are your first impressions?
No, I would reiterate what you guys said. It's a really fun game. I've not played Psychonauts, the first one. I think they had like a VR one. I've not played it, but the game does do a good job of catching you up, of understanding who the characters are. The best way I can describe this game is it has a personality, and that's the only way I can really describe it. Like, it has its own personality. Like you said, you may be, the art style may be off-putting, and even for me, it was kind of weird at first. But as you go throughout the game and meet the characters and learn the story of the game, everything seems to fit.
It comes together.
Yeah, it all comes together and fits with each other really well. Now, I really like 3D platformers. I like them more than I like 2D platformers. That's not to say 2D platformers are bad. I just like 3D platformers like Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, games like that. And the platforming in this game is, I think, top-notch.
It's fantastic.
When a lot of reviews were coming out saying that this game leans towards its strength of platforming, and that's 100% true. And it definitely does have a strength in platforming because it's like I said, it's top notch. The story is very well done. The gameplay, I think, is the selling point of the game, which is that platforming, that 3D platforming. But like I said, the game has personality. It's its own personality, and it's really good. And it makes me excited to play other Tim Schafer games.
Yeah. What's fun, what it reminds me of is, like, right here, we're in this hallway, for those of you listening, and we're walking through this level where we're in this very constricted hallway. It's like a ride at Disneyland.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of constantly. It's just fun. There's so much going on the walls, what's in front of you, behind you, to the side of you. It's really well done. I'm absolutely blown away. Jordan, maybe you can answer this. Rose City Gamer asks, is this an example of Microsoft purchasing a game developer and allowing the developer to reach the full potential of a game that perhaps would not have had the resources to quite get to that next level?
I think it is, because when Microsoft comes in,
They open up their checkbook.
They give you. They not only come in with money, they come in with more and more money.
I would like to reach out to Microsoft right now and just say, help us reach our potential.
That's funny.
No, I do think this is. I don't know the whole history of Double Fine. When I was kind of reading about them, there may have been some rough spots in their history, but I think Microsoft came in and allowed them to achieve the vision they wanted to achieve with this game. Now, it's hard to say without Microsoft would that have happened. I don't know. I do think it helped for sure.
100%. We know that Tim Schafer, I'm pretty sure he said this, the fact that Microsoft has just basically given him complete freedom.
Which is what you need when making games.
Correct. I think he was because he went on his own, and with what happened with him and LucasArts back in the 90s, that's why he started his own company. I'm pretty sure the reason he allowed Microsoft to purchase them is because they basically said, we'll pay the bills, you make your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
saw the potential in him and his studio. Right?
He makes brilliant games. He really does. Mm-hmm. And they're not games that are cookie cutter games that everybody just follows in the industry. He's a trendsetter. He's very good, and to have somebody like that under Microsoft, that's what I think. I don't know if this is a Phil Spencer move or what the details were, but when they got Tim Schafer, were we at that E3?
We were at that E3 where they announced Double Fine Studios, and he was on stage.
I mean, everybody got excited for, Crossfire X or whatever was going on. But that was really, I was extremely excited to see that. And nervous at the same time. Well, is this a corporation going to buy out a company just to crush something? And no, the relationship is you make your art. And
the relationship is you're a great game developer. We need great games.
What excites me is right now. So the purchase of Double Fine Studios was kind of after development has already started.
Correct.
On Psychonauts 2. So Psychonauts 2 is cross-platform right now. It's on, I believe it's on PC, it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox. Now, if you're on PC or Xbox, you do have Game Pass, which is the benefit it has towards Xbox. But now that Microsoft has Double Fine Studios, what's their next project going to be? And you know that one will be exclusive. You know what I mean? This is an example, I think, of a good purchase of a studio that will now deliver, at least, if it's half as good as this game, that will deliver very good action platforming exclusives.
Yeah.
You know,
if that's what Tim Schafer wants to do,
or maybe he's going to do something different.
He's the brain behind Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle and Brutal Legend. He can go wherever he wants.
Duro, a.k.a. Ryan, says Hellblade 2 will be incredible. Sorry, and Brian F. before that, in response, that was him in response, sorry. But Brian F. said, in the same vein, Hellblade 2 should hopefully fulfill their vision as well.
Exactly.
I think that's a good point, Mm-hmm. Anyways, there you go, guys. If you are in gaming burnout, if you
I feel like you're about to start an infomercial.
Yeah, if you're looking to get back to what made you fall in love with games in the first place, I really do believe Psychonauts 2 is that game. It's refreshing, it's fun, it's zany. At the same time, it's just a great game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Incredible level design. That's what really stands out to me. It's like, wow, how did they think to put all this together and make it work this way? Blows my mind.
It's good. I'm really excited to consider this a game of the year as soon as I beat it.
Yeah.
In the running.
Man, talk about, there's just so much. Xbox really is crushing it. We're going to say it again. It's the theme of today's show. Xbox is crushing it.
Well, it's Game Pass is crushing
Game Pass is crushing
this game is on Game Pass.
Look, I'm going to go home and play this. I have this to play. I have Humankind to play. Which guys you got to play?
Well, and the thing is yes, like we said, this game is multi-platform. It is on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. But not only is it on Game Pass, which is a part of your subscription, it's also the best place to play on the Series X console-wise, because I believe the Series X is 4K 60 frames, and I think the PlayStation 5 currently is doing a backward compatibility version, so it doesn't have as high as resolution. So I mean, I think.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure if you want to look up, because you can look up all the different console stats of it. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. So it just goes to show that I think Microsoft is serious about games, and yes, this one isn't technically an exclusive, but they now own the studio that makes good games, and it's exciting to see what this studio in particular will do for the future of Xbox.
Agreed. Has any of us, Duro has asked us multiple times in chat, and it's a game that I'll be honest, I haven't tried out yet because I've forgotten about it, but 12 minutes. Has any of us tried out 12 minutes?
Duro, I've heard a lot of good things, my friend. But I've not played it either because I've been playing Psychonauts. It's because
but it came out before.
I know it came out before Psychonauts, but I was playing
before.
Tarkov before that, and now I'm playing Psychonauts. So I think after I beat Psychonauts, because my goal is to beat Psychonauts by the end of next week, because it's only about a 10 to 15 hour game, so I think it's an achievable goal. After that, I do want to jump into 12 minutes because I've heard a lot of interesting things. I've heard kind of both sides, but nonetheless, I've heard that it's interesting and it's kind of an experience I want to go through.
Yeah. There you go, everybody. That'll do it for us for this week. Thank you very much
Awesome.
for tuning in.
That's
Thank
it,
you for
huh?
listening. That's it, folks.
That's all we got.
We would like to encourage you, please head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/XoneBros. Subscribe to us there. If you'd like to support us, you can become a member there. That supports the show. A member is like becoming a Patreon supporter, only on YouTube. You can also rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher.
Also, we record live, so you can catch us every Friday evening.
Each and every single Friday.
The show. We have a chat. Actually, chat influenced our show quite a bit today. Thank you very much.
And we are live on Wednesdays.
And Jordan plays
Man
games.
Streams on
Yeah,
Wednesdays.
we
Yeah.
play
Checks out games.
If I haven't beaten Psychonauts by Wednesday, we'll be playing that. If I have, we'll be playing 12 minutes.
Ooh, there we go. There we go. Anyways, that's us, everybody. Thank you very much. We've got a big couple months coming up.
It's really...
It's actually intimidating.
It's extremely intimidating. It's week after week after week up until December 8th.
Oh, man.
And then we just haven't... It hasn't been announced any games
We
after
need to
that
take
yet.
like 3 weeks off and we just play games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Hey,
awesome.
that sounds like a
actually.
great idea. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
See you guys. Have a great week.
I'm walking